The push for answers about what happened to Nolan Wells continues. Today, his parents sat down for a moderated discussion during the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Atlanta. 16 WAPT's Brooklyn Joyner was there and has more from that discussion.
We're here at the National Association of Black Journalists Conference here in Atlanta, and we were able to get a first-hand account from Nolan Wells' parents of what it was like searching for the 18-year-old the day he went missing. He was found dead in the water near Horn Island after celebrating with friends on 4th of July, and now his parents are still searching for answers as to what happened to him.
They wanted the truth of what happened to their 18-year-old son, Nolan Wells, and they had concerns whether they were going to get a fair and impartial investigation. And from that day to this one, it has been the same objective: to have truth, transparency, and find out what happened to Nolan.
Wells' parents say that there was a lot of inconsistencies in the stories coming from friends Nolan was last seen with. In Atlanta, Brooklyn Joyner, 16 WA.
Now to the latest in the Nolan Wells death investigation. At least 3 people are facing charges accused of making threats against others involved in the case. According to federal court records, Edward James Porter from Illinois is accused of threatening to kill or injure 2 witnesses in the investigation, calling them and saying he was going to kill them and their families. A man from California is accused of sending a threatening direct message on Facebook to a Jackson County Chancery Court judge. And a woman from Ohio is also accused of making bomb threats to the George County Chancery Clerk's office and the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. All of this is connected to the investigation into what happened to the 18-year-old who went missing and was later found dead after a July 4th boat trip to Horn Island with friends. His mother, Christine Wansley, reported him missing July 5th. She said that he was last seen by friends on the island around 3 p.m. July 4th.
47 days. 47 days since Nolan Wells was last seen alive on Horn Island, Mississippi. 47 days since a mother picked up a phone call she almost didn't answer and her entire world collapsed in 2 words. 47 days. And in those 47 days, arrests have been made. Let that land for a second. Arrests, actual arrests, the kind of arrests that require federal resources, federal authority, and federal urgency. The kind of arrests that tell you the system is paying attention. The kind of arrests that tell you somebody decided enough is enough and moved. But here is where this case stops making sense. The 3 arrests that have been made in connection to this case are not arrests of anyone accused of harming Nolan Wells. They are not arrests of anyone who was with him on that island on July 4th. They are not arrests of anyone connected to the last 24 hours of his life. They are arrests of people who stood up and demanded the truth be heard, people who raised their voices, people who asked questions, people who said, this does not add up, and refused to go quiet. Those are the people the federal system moved on. The same federal government that has jurisdiction over the land where Nolan's body was found moved fast enough to arrest people for speaking up. But in 47 days, and not one person who was with Nolan on that island has been taken in for proper cross-examination. Not one person has been formally detained for a full and thorough questioning. The evidence submitted, the reports filed, the timelines that do not add up, the phone that ended up at Jack's house, the keys that were missing until they weren't, the cell reception story that collapsed the moment Christine and Elmore walked that island the very next morning. None of it has led to a single formal interrogation of the people who were last seen with Nolan Wells alive. Doesn't that tell you something? Doesn't that make something stir in the back of your mind that you cannot shake loose? Because when a system moves fast to silence the people asking questions, but moves slow to question the people with the answers, that is not an accident, that is a pattern. And on this video, on what should have been a video on Nolan Wells' 19th birthday, we are looking that pattern directly in the face. We will look at points on this video with one question at the center of all of it. Why are the wrong people being arrested while the right questions remain unanswered?
I bet you $1,000,000 if it was 5 black boys and 1 white boy on the boat. By now, there would have been an arrest, there would have been a warrant, there would have been a seizure. But because America doesn't believe that Black Lives Matter, they trying to act offended because we want to ask the question, what happened to our brother? And when we ask the question, what happened? The response is we're still gathering information. We're waiting on toxicology, waiting on the grand jury. Am I my brother's keeper? That's the question underneath every delayed subpoena, every sealed file, every complaint filed against a grieving mother's nursing license. Instead of asking whoever left her son on the island, the institutional Mississippi still muttering Cain's excuse, "It's not my problem." I wanted to come to Mississippi today from Georgia to let the system and to let the establishment know, let that be the last time you try to intimidate a black mother. She's got every right to fight for her son, to stand for her son, to question her son, and you better not mess with her nurse's license. Leave that black woman alone. And I want them to know, if the dirt wouldn't be quiet, what makes you think the water's gonna be quiet? Because black people know something about coming through the water.
Now, while that comment and that sermon has been taken by many as insensitive, and some has said he's right, others said this shouldn't be what's left of Nolan's memory. We are not going to take sides on this channel, but we are only going to question one thing. Why has Officer Tatum chosen to present this group of teenagers as ultimately and totally non-guilty of anything at all leading to the death of Nolan Wells? Why is it the official evidence on this case a series of podcasts and TikTok online investigations and not real police statements from thorough investigations of these kids? Why has Tatum chosen to platform this case the way he's chosen to and defend those friends of Xavier who from all indications are lying and stalling the truth? Who would fact check these kids under serious circumstances to spot and prove the inconsistencies in their stories? Seriously, listen to this.
About 5 miles from his home.
I knew that these knuckle-dragging activists were not telling the truth, and they're not being honest. They're literally pushing an agenda to make money and get a GoFundMe as high as they can, then they go into the next city. I was able to talk to the boys that were involved that have been accused. I was able to get a ton of information. I was able to see evidence to debunk almost everything that these knuckle draggers were pushing, especially Al Sharpton and the other bald-head idiot. And to me, I think people owe these boys an apology. It's very sad and unfortunate what happened to Nolan Wells. I don't know if there was something that was foul play that happened to Nolan Wells. What I do know, after interviews, talking to people, and looking at evidence, that the boys that they've accused, claiming that they're racist white people, that they took him out in the middle of an abandoned island and killed him, they didn't have nothing to do with it. And it's sad that they're not focusing on or trying to find the truth. They're trying to find an angle to push racism. Now, Nolan Wells had a funeral today, and it was very disheartening that they turned his funeral into an activist rally. These boys are getting doxxed and death threats and people showing up at their houses. No evidence whatsoever. I think that, I'm telling you, I think the family should sue the living daylights out of them. Have evidence that there was something nefarious that happened, that there was some suspect. All we have right now with the information that's been provided is that his death is either inconclusive or there's no signs of foul play.
This case has already taken too much time. 47 days. 47 days. And we are still here, still talking, still scrolling through podcast episodes and TikTok videos, and independent investigators piecing together a puzzle that a real thorough investigation would have solved weeks ago. Ask yourself that question seriously. Do we really believe that if the people with the power and the resources to investigate this case actually wanted answers, that after 47 days they would not have them? 47 days. That is not a timeline of a system that is searching for the truth. That is a timeline of a system that is comfortable with the silence. And at this point in this case, something is becoming more clear, more real, more impossible to ignore. Because there are questions that are no longer hiding behind confusion or lack of evidence. They are standing right out in the open, and one of them is this. Officer Tatum knows exactly why he is talking the way he is talking. He is choosing his words deliberately. He is choosing his position deliberately, for reasons that are best known to him. And that is fine. Everyone has their angle. But here is what is not fine. No one, and we mean no one, who has sat down and actually listened to those boys tell their story, walks away believing it. Nobody is that dumb. The lies are not buried deep. They are not hidden behind legal language or complicated forensic reports. They are sitting right there on the surface, in the story itself, in the words those boys chose to use, in the details they offered and the details they did not. And that is exactly where we are going right now, point by point, detail by detail, because this story does not hold up, and it is time to show exactly why.
Why are you interjecting race and interjecting issues into a case that don't already have issues? Now, let me point this out for you guys. I'm just giving you a teaser on things that I've learned from talking to the boys involved in this. When they initially came out and said that it was 4 guys, 4 boys that took Nolan to the island and then this abandoned island and left him there with a girl as if it was only a few people there, they lied, intentionally lied to you, because the island had thousands of people there, hundreds of boats there. Some of the kids that they accused, Warren included, one of the kids, and that's one of the kids that I interviewed, Warren wasn't even on the boat going out to Horn Island with Nolan. He wasn't even on the boat. They didn't make that up. The boys leaving, they asked Nolan to get on the boat. We have evidence, and we can show it to you. We have evidence of people saying they heard the boys yell at Nolan and say, get on the boat, but Nolan wanted to stay behind with the girl. Why is that? He's 18, he's grown. He can stay behind and be with a chick if he wants to, because he got hundreds of options to come back on another boat. And then they continue on in this funeral, making a mockery of this boy's life. I'll show you another clip from the funeral. Roll it.
Embarrassing to hear this form an investigative podcaster in 2026, because tell me, who stays back with a girl in 2026 and leaves his phone behind with his friends when he knows they are actually leaving him behind? Secondly, if truly he was with a girl the last time they saw him, why has no one called the girl's name, searched or investigated the girl? And please, did you hear the boys' account of how they left Nolan at the island? Why are they hiding the altercation? Watch the next videos and hear the account from Nolan's supposed friends, and tell me the truth is not before your eyes as they speak. And lastly, if a guy leaves his fellow guy with a friend at an island and here he's missing hours later, the first person he calls is not his guy's mom to ask, have you seen your son? That's trash. The first person you call is either the girl or any of your friends back at the island to ask what happened in your absence. These young men account, they really said they were willing to go back to the island to search for Nolan, and they sent his picture to his mum so she can know color of shorts he wore. These are adults saying these and a detective sat listening? It's incredibly sad to see what these teenagers have turned this case into. Let's watch these videos.
Describing Nolan like, that man was the funniest dude ever.
Always had a smile on his face.
Always,
I mean,
like,
if you needed to laugh, I think Nolan would be the only person, one of the only people I would call.
Man, I ain't ever seen him like mad. Dude.
He was, I was gonna say, he was the peacemaker of our friend group. I mean, anytime anybody had beef over somebody, over a girl or whatever, he would go over there and start talking to him. He's like, man, I think this guy's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, this guy's
I don't think we should. I think we should become friends with this guy. Yeah. And lo and behold, we would somehow become friends with the dude, even though he's getting with one of our other buddies' exes or whatever. But yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, Nolan's great. Like I'm awesome. Like most genuine guy ever. Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, lights up a room when he walks in it. But like, no, I'm not joking.
Jokes. It's like an understatement.
No jokes. I mean, he's great, dude. Like most genuine guy I've ever met in my life. And like, I know when people like you know, I know I've seen like when people pass a lot, everybody says good things, obviously. And, you know, this isn't just me like being respectful to Nolan. Like, dude, that was like one of the best guys I've ever met. Man.
I've only ever seen him mad once. Literally once. That's it. One time. And it was over something stupid. Yeah. But that was the only time I've ever seen him mad. Other than that, he was always smiling or trying to figure out what we're doing that night or whatever. And then again, like, our relationship really started around, would you say, like, freshman year, high school? Like,
well, I was like a little closer with him before y'all because, like, obviously, like I told Brandon last time, like 8th grade COVID year is when Nolan and I like really started hanging out, and then we all started hanging out going into high school. But man, that dude's funny. Life of the party. Like, had so much fun. Like, we had so much fun together. Like, even going up to like Starkville where Morgan goes to school, and like just every
freshman Destin.
It was fun. Yeah, dude, it's fun. He's awesome. Great.
And
Now, please, what the hell was that? Like, even without hearing any other thing, what really was that opening? Oh my God. Totally embarrassing. Now look at this next clip.
Yeah, I mean, Nolan was with us 2 weeks prior to the 4th of July at Horn Island. Yeah. With no one out there. If we had any intention to hurt Nolan at the island, why would we do it on the 4th of July with thousands of people out there? I mean, it's pretty clear. We literally all went out there for my buddy's birthday, and Nolan was with a whole group of people like we were with on the 4th. So, I mean, that's...
Did you hear that statement? How can one make such a statement? Let's go to the next clip. Just watch.
I can go ahead first and say, nobody has their phone in the water. Even when you jump in a pool, do you have your phone? Like, no, you don't. You're not gonna bring your electronic in the water. So what everybody does is they stick their phones on the dash of the boat and they forget about it because you don't have good service. You can't even send a picture through from Horn Island to like somebody else. And so they put it on the phone, and even as teenagers, we don't really get on them. And we go out there and we conversate, and we see a bunch of people that we usually don't see on a day-to-day basis, that we graduated high school with, guys that graduated before us. You know, it's a big meeting, like seeing all your friends that you haven't seen in a while. And so whenever we were coming back in, he didn't even think about grabbing his phone. He never asked about his phone, along with 5 other people that also left their phones on the boat, and we had to wait at the boat launch for them to come and pick them up, including Javon. I mean, Javon left his phone on our boat. So actually Wyatt was saying, told Nolan, because Nolan's with this girl at this point. They're together. Wyatt looked at Nolan, he was like, dude, come on, boat's taking on water, we gotta go, like right now. And Nolan didn't want to go. He said he wanted to stay with the girl. And Wyatt started yelling at him. He's like, Nolan, get on the boat now. And Nolan's like, no. And then finally, Wyatt's like, Nolan, get on the effing boat right now. We are leaving right now. And Nolan said he had another ride back, and we had no more time to waste. We got to get the boat out of there before it goes under.
And it was that, and when Nolan said that, like, was there an issue that you believe that Nolan will be able to get back, or were you concerned?
Now, first of all, there's absolutely no explanation to that. That story is false and does not add up. No 18-year-old with a girl leaves his phone with his friends when they are leaving him off the island. No 18-year-old stays with a girl on an island without his phone. And also, if that conversation between Wyatt and Nolan is true, then that just proves and confirms there was an altercation earlier, because no friend asks another friend to come on board a boat back home in that tone and manner. All these makes no sense. All these shows these boys are liars, and they do have a lot they've refused to tell the public. Tell us what you think in the comment box, as we look at another video that an online investigator unraveled.
I'm going to prove that Nolan Wells was physically dropped or dumped at the shoreline where he was found, just based on AI science or biology. Starting with this, Cajun Navy official Brian Trasher actually says that he was stunned that when Nolan Wells was found, he did not appear to be bloated whatsoever. He was face down, but he didn't appear to be bloated. But why? Now we know this general area of Horn Island is known as a washing machine. So here, in the dynamic maritime environment such as a washing machine currents off Horn Island, hydraulic forces override buoyancy physics, which means powerful undercurrents, rough surf, or shifting tides can mechanically sweep a sunken body off the seafloor and churn it back up to the surface, even if the body is still completely unbloated. But here's the big one. This is the one that I want everyone to pay attention to. You may actually skip the whole sinking process in general. If an individual is unalive before their body enters the water from a medical emergency, foul play, or trauma on a boat, their lungs may still be fully inflated with air. Because their lungs are never filled with water, the body preserves its natural buoyancy and can float face first on the surface immediately, skipping the initial sinking phase entirely, which now brings to question, he was found face down, he wasn't bloated, which means he skipped possibly the sinking phase, then how come no one saw him on July 5th until July 6th? It's really starting to prove my theory of he was dropped off there.